The 2008 Mardakert skirmishes began on March 4 after the 2008 Armenian election protests. It involved the heaviest fighting between ethnic Armenian and Azerbaijani forces over the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh since the 1994 ceasefire after the Nagorno-Karabakh War. Armenian sources accused Azerbaijan of trying to take advantage of ongoing unrest in Armenia. Azerbaijani sources blamed Armenia, claiming that the Armenian government was trying to divert attention from internal tensions in Armenia. Following the incident, on March 14, the United Nations General Assembly by a recorded vote of 39 in favor to 7 against adopted Resolution 62-243, demanding the immediate withdrawal of all Armenian forces from the occupied territories of Azerbaijan. Background: Nagorno-Karabakh War. During and shortly after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Armenians in the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast and Azeris were involved in the Nagorno-Karabakh War from February 1988 to May 1994. As the war progressed, the former Soviet republics of Armenia and Azerbaijan became enveloped in a protracted, undeclared war as Azerbaijan attempted to curb the secessionist movement in Nagorno-Karabakh. The enclave's parliament voted on February 20, 1988, to unify with Armenia, and the vast majority of the Karabakh population voted in favor of independence in a referendum. The demand to unify with Armenia, which proliferated in the late 1980s, began in a relatively peaceful manner. However, in the following months, as the Soviet Union's disintegration neared, it gradually grew into an increasingly violent conflict between the two ethnic groups, resulting in claims of ethnic cleansing by all sides. The war was the most destructive ethnic conflict in both terms of lives and property that emerged after the Soviet Union collapsed in December 1991. The Declaration of Independence was the final result of a long-standing resentment in the Armenian community of Nagorno-Karabakh against serious limitations of its cultural and religious freedom by Central Soviet and Azerbaijani authorities, but more importantly, as a territorial conflict regarding the land. As Azerbaijan declared its independence from the Soviet Union and removed the powers held by the enclave's government, the Armenian majority voted to secede from Azerbaijan, and in the process proclaimed the Republic of Nagorno-Karabakh. Full-scale fighting erupted in the late winter of 1992. International mediation by several groups including the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe failed to bring an end resolution that both sides could work with. In the spring of 1993, Armenian forces captured regions outside the enclave itself, threatening the involvement of other countries in the region. By the ceasefire in 1994, the Armenians were in full control of not only the enclave but also approximately 9% of Azerbaijan's territory outside the enclave, which they still control. As many as 230,000 Armenians from Azerbaijan and 800,000 Azeris from Armenia and Karabakh have been displaced as a result of the conflict. A Russian-brokered ceasefire was signed in May 1994 and peace talks, mediated by the OSCE Minsk Group, have been held ever since by Armenia and Azerbaijan. The ceasefire is self-monitored by the armed forces of the now de facto independent Republic of Nagorno-Karabakh and by Azerbaijan. Violations of the ceasefire in the form of sporadic shooting incidents have occurred, but the ceasefire has largely held. 2008 Armenian presidential election protests. Following the Armenian presidential election of 2008, there were a series of mass protests in Yerevan, Armenia, alleging electoral fraud. Initially, these protests were peaceful though unauthorized by government. They began on February 20 and lasted for 10 days. Despite the urging of the government to stop the unauthorized demonstrations, the protests continued until March 1. On the morning of March 1, police and army troops dispersed the 700–1,000 persons who remained overnight. At noon on March 1, over 10,000 demonstrators held a protest at the French embassy in Yerevan, and over the evening, clashes broke out between protesters and law enforcement. A 20-day state of emergency, including a censure on free press, was declared by the incumbent president Robert Kocharyan. On March 2, the Armenian army was arrived to with armored personnel carriers. Up to 9 people died in clashes between police and protesters. 1 police officer and 8 civilians. 16 officers were hospitalized with bullet wounds. On March 4, 2008, the OSCE issued a press release citing the ban on independent news coverage and censorship temporarily imposed by Armenian authorities as contrary to OSCE commitments. In this context, the Armenian side blames Azerbaijan for trying to take advantage of unrest in Armenia. The Azeri side blames Armenia, claiming that they are trying to divert attention from problems at home. However, Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev has also said his country is ready to retake the region by force, and has been buying the military hardware and ammunition to do so. Prelude. In a sign of disapproval after the 2008 Kosovo Declaration of Independence, Azerbaijan's parliament voted to withdraw a 33-strong Azeri peacekeeping team that has been serving there under NATO command since 1999, as a part of Turkish peacekeeping mission. Speaking on March 4, Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev said that Kosovo's independence is emboldening Armenian separatists in Nagorno-Karabakh, and that his country was ready to take it back by force. Prior to the skirmishes, Ilham Aliyev had insisted on numerous occasions that his country was ready to retake the region by force, and had been buying the military hardware and ammunition to do so. Aliyev nevertheless expressed hope that Azerbaijan's growing military could nudge talks towards a diplomatic breakthrough. A time will come when the Armenians will agree to that, he said. Active stage. Armenian version of events. According to the Armenian side, Azerbaijani forces attacked Armenian positions near the village of Levanark in the Mardakert region of northeastern Nagorno-Karabakh early March 4, 2008. They then briefly seized positions held by Armenian forces, which were later recaptured. The Armenian side also claimed that 8 Azeri servicemen were killed and 7 wounded, with 2 Armenian servicemen wounded, and that the Azeris fled, leaving armament on the battlefield. Armenian President Robert Kocharyan also claimed that Azeri troops used heavy artillery in fighting. Azerbaijani version of events. According to the Azerbaijani side, Armenian forces attacked the positions of Azerbaijani army in the Tatar district of Azerbaijan. In the resulting battle, 8 Azeri servicemen and 12 Armenian servicemen were killed, and 4 Armenian servicemen were wounded. Aftermath. Azerbaijani side announced the names of 4 killed servicemen: Nemit Habibullah Oglu Tursayev, born in 1988. Recruited by Zagartala Region Enlistment Office in 2007. Yusuf Oruj Gasimov, born in 1988, recruited by Sheki Region Enlistment Office in 2007. Baruz Arzuoglu Ismailov, born in 1988, recruited by Sheki Enlistment Office in 2006. Jehan Bahadur Oglu Safarov, born in 1978, recruited by Kartai Enlistment Office in 1996 RE. On March 7, 2008, Nagorno-Karabakh's de facto news agency reports a concentration Azerbaijani troops at the contact line where the prior ceasefire violation occurred. On March 8–9, another exchange of gunfire occurred at the contact line near Agdam. Azerbaijani Defense Ministry spokesman Eldar Sabiroglu said 2 Azerbaijani civilians were killed and 2 wounded in the shooting overnight on March 8. In the Agdam region, Sabiroglu claimed that additional small arms gunfire between Armenian and Azeri troops occurred on March 9. killing one Azerbaijani soldier and injuring another. He also claimed that an Armenian soldier was also killed, which Nagorno-Karabakh's defense minister, Lt. Col. Senor Azratian, denied. Dispute over casualties. The Armenian head of National Military Investigation Institute of the Defense Ministry rejected the Azerbaijani claim about 12 Armenian deaths. Meanwhile, the press service of the Azerbaijani Ministry of Defense insisted that the claim by Armenian president about 8 casualties on Azeri side was false, because it would be impossible to hide the deaths of 4 more servicemen in the presence of the media and the public in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan insisted that 4 Azeri soldiers and 12 Armenian soldiers were killed and 15 Armenian soldiers wounded, while Armenia insists that 8 Azeri soldiers were killed and 7 wounded, and that 2 Armenian soldiers were wounded, with no Armenian fatalities. International reaction. Finland. Finnish Foreign Minister and OSCE Chairman in Office, Ilkka Kanerva, urged everyone concerned to exercise maximum restraint and observe the terms of the ceasefire. United States State Department spokesman Tom Casey told reporters that the U.S. was concerned about the incident, which only served to underline the need for a negotiated settlement. Russia. A statement released by the Russian Foreign Ministry said that Russia is seriously concerned about the military clashes in the northwest Nagorno-Karabakh region in Azerbaijan. It said the clashes would by no means be allowed to escalate into large-scale combat and spill over into neighboring regions. OSCE Minsk Group, French, Russian and U.S.